Hi, this is Sandra Pellida Sandini. We're here to do the 8-day Meet My Guides challenge. This is day 1 with our higher self. I started to read this book, and it's actually a fictional book. It's The Dark Side of the Moon by Sherilyn Kenyon. And when just as I started to read it, I thought, you know what, it'd be really interesting if I literally said, hey, guides, higher self, could you please give me something in this book that's going to work towards my class? And so I started it up. I opened the page, and literally the very first paragraph that I got was this: the air whispered with psychic electricity. It was a sensation that could only be felt by a particular non-human sect or humans with highly developed senses. And I was like, oh my goodness, here I am, I'm getting exactly what I asked for. So truly understand that when we ask for things of our higher self and any of our guides, that they're there for the asking, okay? And literally ask. So what I loved about this paragraph, first of all, is here I had asked, and then the very first sentence was all capitalized like that. The air whispered with psychic electricity. How powerful is that statement? And also too, I found it very interesting that next sections where it said it was a sensation that could only be felt by a particular non-human sect or humans with highly developed senses. Now, this book that I was reading was actually a vampire book, or something like that, like a romance vampire book, which I really like those type of books. But so they're referring to a creature that is of the non-norm in our world. However, when I read this sentence, I actually think of the non-human sect as being our animals, or the pets, and any animals that are around, even bugs and that. And the humans with highly developed senses, I think it's really, we need to understand that the highly developed senses could be anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who's aware that they have a highly developed sense. The highly developed sense is when we are feeling all of these things around us, and sometimes we think that it's our emotions, when in reality it's possibly other people's emotions, okay? It's that empath that's in us. So I thought that was really interesting, first paragraph. And then the last line of that first chapter said, no, it wasn't over, it was just the beginning. So it was, again, really interesting how this whole guided challenge has unfolded, and the fact that there goes Cynthia's dog, I love it. Even though I had this incredible information come through on the higher self for a class that I created for a membership that I'm in, that information wasn't over. There was still more information that needed to come through, that wanted to come through, that was channeled to come through. So I love that it was just the beginning. It was just truly far more going on than just what I had already learned in the last year. And the next chapter, this is one of the sentences that I heard in that. She hated that little bit of optimism who still lived inside of her. I want you guys to realize that that little bit of optimism that's inside of each one of us is our higher self. It is our higher self really working towards creating a much better space for each of us, and really developing this little nagging voice, I guess, that's really is trying to move you forward, is making the effort to move you forward into a better spot, into a better way of thinking, into a better way of life. And more about the self-love. So I created this picture last year when I first created the class on the higher self, the me, myself, and I. And those of you who've worked with me or work around me have often heard me say these either in meditation or bits and pieces during work with you. So the me, myself, and I, the little you, physical body, higher self, the mind, the body, the soul, the past, present, future, the beginning, middle, and end into infinity and beyond. I'm not sure whose mic that is, so I'm just going to make sure I got other people muted here. Okay, there we go. So the higher self has been with us for all time, since the beginning of existence, through our connection to everything else. our higher self is a connection to the higher mind, the evolved mind, and it is time to train ourselves to be more aware of our higher self. So when we think about our higher self, I know for myself, like just do this little exercise first. I know that I had in the introductory letter told about what was going to be happening with the Zooms and that, and then in the first letter, I actually included this little button that said brain slide. For those of you who went into that letter, you'll see that button there, and it actually pops you into the video on how to do the brain slide, okay? So it's there for your guys' use. But we'll do the brain slide right now because I want you guys to start to do this type of work so that you start to feel more comfortable, and then we'll take a look at our higher self. So if you close your eyes and imagine a small version of your little you actually on the top of your head. Imagine this beautiful slide going down into your heart space. Take a nice breath. And now have that little you slide down the slide and go, woohoo! And feel your body right now. Feel like even if the hair on your arms might be standing up, feel how you feel as you slid down that slide. And as you're standing there in your heart space, what I would love for you to do is to ask to connect with your higher self. And it's as simple as that. Know that you have connected with your higher self when you say, I would like to connect with my higher self. The next step is I would love for you to feel where your higher self is. And I'm just going to refer to the higher self as the higher self instead of she or he, because sometimes there are different genders listening to the recording. So imagine where your higher self is. The first thing that pops into your mind. It could be directly in front of you, it could be above you, either side, slightly front, slightly back, one of the sides. Just imagine where that higher self is. And even if you, whatever word popped into your head, that is where your higher self is, okay? Trust that, accept that, believe that, know that. Even if you can't physically see something there, know that that higher self is in that position. The next step I would love for you to do is to imagine your higher self. What color is that higher self coming in at? Is it our color, or can you actually see clothing? And see, I mean, know, feel, understand that your higher self is presenting an image, and it's whatever those dots are in your head. Okay, because we are working for the highest good and for the most benevolent reasons right now. Beautiful. So I want to tell you a little bit about your higher self. Now that you've kind of got accustomed to going into your heart, seeing where your higher self is, come back to our space here, the sacred space here, and we'll talk a little bit about the higher self. The higher self is this incredible connection that we have. It is the most intimate connection that we have. It is the soul connection that we have. And I'll show you that on this next slide here. The higher self is the I in the me, myself, and I. The soul connection, the feeling when we feel that self-love. So we do some work in some of the classes that I do, and I also really strongly have used this mantra myself, the I am love mantra. And when we are first introduced to that I am love mantra, or into self-love, and we really are stepping into that I am love mantra, it is incredible how we feel. It's just like a soul connection, and that's what I'm talking about when I talk about this soul connection. So I'm just going to do that mantra with you as well. So if you'd like to close your eyes and just feel into the words, and if you know the words and you want to say them along with me in your own space, that's fine too. I am love. I am loved. I am loving. I love me. And as you breathe your way through that mantra, you can feel this beautiful sense of calmness, or you may feel, uh, if you've been working with yourself for a while, you may feel this incredible sense of emotion coming up. That's that self-love. That's that connection that we're making with our soul, okay? Also, too, the higher self is about the future, and it's what the higher self wants for us. But because the higher self is the soul, is the I in that all of those phrases, that higher self is really committed to working with us and would love for us to have everything that we could possibly have in the world, always for the highest good and for the most benevolent reasons. And also to the phrase and into infinity and beyond. It's the hopes, dreams, and possibilities that the higher self could really begin to have unfold with us as we step into this relationship with our higher self. So when I spoke on a slide before too about that higher self and that connection that we can make, I have heard this phrase come up on the time of the sixth sun. And this is a new mantra that I personally have just started to write in my morning pages for about the last week here. And I just love how it really resonates with the energy of what I am working towards in my own life, and how I would love for everybody to be talking about this, because we're really into learning who our guides are. And like I said before, this intimate relationship that we have with our higher self, because it is our soul, because it is the very first person that is with us, the first guide that is with us. And I say first person because when we're in school, we're taught that I is first person, right? So this mantra, I align myself this day with my higher self for the highest good and the greatest good of all. Very, very powerful. And for anyone who wants to write this down, I'll just leave this up for another moment or two. I align myself this day with my higher self for the highest good and the greatest good of all. I love that. This picture I took in Hurricane, Utah, and the sun above it, the rays of light shining down, that beautiful little bit of rainbow effect that's happening there. That's where I feel my higher self is literally above my head right there. And although here in this photo, for all intents and purposes, that is the sun behind me, it also too really strongly represents where I feel my higher self stands. And just that beautiful connection. And when I feel where my higher self is, I really get the strong impression that it is above the crown and in that etheric star area, which is another crown that's another chakra area that's above our crown. And I just love that, because it is truly that connection to the divine source. And very strongly, we can feel the energy coming in through the crown chakra. So our higher self seeks balance between the heart and the ego and lower mind. So what I talk about our lower mind is the one that's actually in our head, okay? And that higher mind, that evolved mind, is that mind that is just is that area that is, for all intents and purposes, in most human beings, is that unused portion that's in our brain, because we have such not such a huge brain, but we have such a huge part of our physical brain that is unused. And that's a scientific fact, which has been proven. So what the higher self is doing is it's asking us to step into the knowledge that we have in our own brain, so that we can become more evolved and really become more attuned, more aware, more connected to all that there is around us. Okay, this higher self is a magical part of us, a very personal guide who always has our back. So like I said, that little bit of optimism that still is within every single one of us, even in our most direst points, we still have this small little bit of optimism, and that's our higher self, just there reminding us, even if we're choosing not to believe or not to listen at this moment, but it's reminding us that there is hope. There is always hope. Okay, so the higher self is connected in a huge way to many different parts. Okay, I'm going to go back a step here. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to also say something else about that, the higher self, that it is this incredible connection that it works with our solar plexus chakra in a big sense too, that ocean of emotion, right? So when we feel like something is going on and we have the choice of doing one of two things, we can step into the excitement of something or fall back into the fear of things. And I know some of this sounds very repetitive, but I really want you guys to be aware of these different connections that are happening here with first of all, the higher self and that solar plexus. And when I talk about that bit of optimism, so if you're in the middle of doing something and you have this sense of something going on in your stomach, then step into that stomach area, step into that solar plex chakra area and really understand what it is. Is this something that's going, okay, I'd like to step into the excitement of this right now? Or is it something that I need to be aware of so that I can make a more educated decision? So that's one of the reasons we have this chakra in our body as well. But that chakra is working with our higher self's chakra as well. So you really start to have a clear idea of some of the guidance that's coming through, okay, and how intimate, I guess, that guidance is. So before we go into the question and answer period, I would like to do a meditation with you. And this is a picture I took mountain biking, and I thought it was so beautiful because here was this beautiful ring of rocks, and someone had literally made a point of putting these rocks around these 3 little cacti. And I love that because in reality, this ring of rocks was only about this size. So those cactus are probably only about, the size of a baseball each, a hard ball each. And right there is the me, myself, and I, the past, present, and future, the mind, body, and soul. It's all right there, and it's got this beautiful wall around it. But you notice this wall is also, there's air in spots of it. It's something that can be removed. It's a flexible wall. So be very aware that as we're working with these guides, that we are in the process of really discovering these guides, especially the higher self, because we're so intimate with this one to begin with. And recognize where your walls are, recognize where your boundaries are, and allowing those walls or boundaries to be a little bit more flexible as you're in this learning curve with our higher self, okay? And I am going to do a meditation now. So just let me stop my video here. There we go. So I'm calling in the directions of the East, the elements of the wind, and the cultures of the East. Calling in the direction and the elements of the South and the cultures of the South. Calling in the elements, the direction, and the cultures of the West and the water. It was wind for the East and fire for the South, if you're curious. And calling in the elements and direction and culture of the North and Earth. Calling in everything within myself for the highest good and for the most benevolent reasons. and asking for my mind, body, and soul to do what's needed to do to be in a place of acceptance, trust, and belief during this process. Asking to connect with my higher self. Know that your higher self is in this beautiful sacred space with you. And feel as though you are sat in a chair, a beautiful, comfortable chair, and facing you currently is another incredible chair. Invite your higher self to sit there. Know that your higher self is sitting in that chair. And feel the beautiful energy that's coming from your higher self right now. That your higher self is committed to you. Your higher self is connected to you. And through this connection, you can feel this beautiful heart that's between the two of you, at chest height, and how the beautiful rays of light are coming from that heart to you, into your heart space. But you can also feel them going from you through this heart to your higher self. And feel how you are both creating this beautiful infinity sign of connection between the two of you. And as you are there in that incredible space, imagine that you are actually in the center of the two halves of this beautiful brain, the evolved brain. And it's got this beautiful expansive space. You may get a true sense of what the brain wants to show you that it looks like or feels like. It may feel like a beautiful expansive garden. It may feel like incredible mountains. It may feel like this digital landscape. It may feel like this incredible library of books. It may feel like a beautiful grid of energy. Just be open with no expectations. No limitations. And being okay with the outcome. This or something better. And while you're in this beautiful space, however it's presenting itself to you, once again, feel this incredible connection that you have with your higher self. And placing your hands palm up on your knees, your higher self places their hands palm down on your hands. And feel the energy that's flowing between the palms of your hands. I'd like you to take this moment to make a commitment to your higher self. I will be more aware of my higher self. I am aware of the connection with my higher self. I am aware of the incredible possibilities of working with my higher self. I am worthy of working with my higher self. I am a valuable part of this relationship. Sit in the knowing of this. And feel the pedestal that is between the two of you. And on this pedestal is a beautiful book. And the higher self, your higher self, is opening that book. And you can see that it is placed so that you can read and see the pages. And as your higher self is flipping through those pages, you can get the sense of how long your higher self has been connected with your energy. The eons, the lifetimes, the ages. Huh. And the words on one of the pages appear. And those words very vibrantly say, "It began with this." Get a sense of what those letters look like, how big they are, the color of them, the font or script. And place a palm, your hand, on those letters and feel the energy of those letters. And those words emerge on the palm of your hand. And it began with this. And feel how the energy of those words go up your arm to your heart space and create this beautiful energy. And this beautiful energy goes throughout your entire body. And as this energy is going throughout your entire body, you are becoming lighter and brighter. Feel how that energy, that lightness and brightness is all encompassing. And as you're becoming lighter and brighter still again, feel how you can get the sense of more lightness and brightness all around you. You are in this place of the divine source. You are part of this collective energy. You are part of the wisdom of this incredible space, of this light and energy. You can feel the whispers in the background as wisdom is flowing through all this great expanse of light and energy that you are a part of. And through this, you can feel the healing energy that's coming through this right now. This magnificent neon green color is sweeping through all of us. A sense of coming home. And while you are in this space of this divine light, you can feel how pieces of this light are extending out in all directions in very thin cords, almost like fishing line. But these lines are very strong, stronger than anything humankind is aware of. Feel how you are being drawn to one of these cords. And feel how your energy is flowing on one of these cords. Know that the experiences of lifetimes, past, present, and future, are in this cord. That whatever was in the past, we have the ability to move forward from now. That we have been in a process of evolvement and discovery, of growth, and for some of us, the clarity that has come through. Step into that knowing of the clarity. That you are here with your higher self, that you are your higher self. And feel the energy, the vibrant, loving, supportive energy of this cord. Choose to step into the excitement of that relationship with your higher self. Like this is a profound relationship, more deeper relationship than you have ever had with any physical being before. And feel that connection. And feel how that cord of energy is coming back towards that beautiful brain, into the central area where you're sitting with your higher self. With that incredible pedestal and book are in front of you. And how your higher self has a new page open. And see a beautiful heart. Feel a beautiful heart on this page. The light energy of this heart you can hold in the palm of your hands. This is now. This is here. This is in this state of being. This state of knowing. Feel how at peace you are with your higher self. And ask your higher self how they would like to be acknowledged, made aware of. How would they like to represent themselves to you? What feeling would you like to have with them? Start to develop a relationship. Feel it in the optimism, the hope, the desire to reach for some of those possibilities that we have in our dreams. This is what our higher self asks us to do. Have optimism and hope. And stepping into the excitement of that, making the conscious point of doing that. Give thanks to your higher self. And feel that beautiful energy cord that's between the two of you, that incredible heart, that infinity symbol that's running between the two of you. Know that you are connected always. Again, making that commitment to being more aware of the higher self. And coming back into your physical body, into your heart space first. Feel how your physical body is around your heart space. In your hands, your feet, your head, the connection. And coming into the sense of awareness of where you are. Taking a nice breath, possibly stretching, rolling your shoulders or your neck. And when you're ready, fluttering your eyelids until you get a sense of being here in the present, in the here and now. And so it is. That was beautiful.